Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Kara, and whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out a little bit with me today to talk about my favorite thing, which is eyeshadow. Of course, I'm going to be doing the eyeshadow collection tag, eyeshadow palette collection tag, and it was created by ANGELICA Lyremar. But yesterday I saw Mel Thompson's video and I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. So ANGELICA was the creator, and I've also watched Amy Loves Makeup's video as well. All three videos will be linked in the description box. I'm so excited to do this. So if you want to learn a little bit about me through eyeshadows, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your answers are down in the comment section, and definitely consider subscribing and joining the community because I would love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So this eyeshadow palette tag has 8 questions, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. So the first question is if I could pick an eyeshadow palette that represents me through a color story. This might surprise you, but the palette that came to mind for me is the Melt Rust palette. Here's the outside of this palette, and here is the inside. What I love about this palette is that it encompasses everything that I think represents me. It's grungy and it's earthy, but it's classic and it's natural. And that's kind of my style. Now I know there are no greens in here, and I do love me some grungy greens, but I'm gonna tell you, this color right here, Erode, it's right here. I don't know, this just does something to my soul. I just love this color so much. This is my favorite palette by Melt. This came out, I believe, in April of 2020, but it's such a fall theme. I just love all of these colors. Redox or Redo, that's this one here. Then you've got these deep, deep grungy browns here. You've got this, these like earthy kind of clay type tones. And I just love this palette so much. So if I had to pick a palette that represented me, it would definitely be this one. It's just not doing too much, but it's doing something. It's giving me what it was supposed to give. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this palette, but the quality of this palette is fantastic. Oh my God, y'all. Hold on. I'm not doing this for every palette, but hold on, because I'm gonna show y'all the swatches. Give me 1 second. Okay, you guys, and again, I'm not gonna do this for every palette, but I just wanted to show you this one because I do feel like, you know, this one's important because it does represent me in a color story. Like I said, this mustard orangey yellow is gorgeous. That's the shade Erode. These shimmers are beautiful. As you can see, the 3 shimmers in this palette, they are not crumbly. So if you are familiar with Melt, we do know that sometimes their shimmers can be crumbly, but when Melt gets it right, when they get it right, they get it right. Now, I will say that I have recently acquired Gemini, and I think that Gemini might be a more accurate representation of me because of the green that's in there. But for right now, as far as what I've used, this palette is just the bee's knees, okay? Oh, look at, I can't. I'm gonna move on because there are 7 more palettes that we need to see, but I just felt like this was worth swatching and showing you guys because, you know, we forget about these palettes and these things, but this is a sorry y'all, I was having a bit of a moment there. Okay, so number 2, if I could pick an eyeshadow that represents me through the packaging, I would have to go with the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that anything by Kaleidos represents me in terms of packaging. So I'm just gonna show Flower Punk, and I'll show Club Nebula too. Sorry, there's a glare from the ring light. But what is so special about Kaleidos that reminds me of myself is that they are out of the box thinkers. I have the whole dresser here. I mean, now the dresser, you know, that was additional, but any eyeshadow palette that you get from them comes beautifully packaged. The Club Nebula palette came in a beautiful box. I did not get the PR box. I didn't get the whole collection. I had just gotten the palette. I mean, look at the design of this palette. So creative. For me, when I see something, it's like, oh, I know that's Kaleidos. And that could go from their blushes to their highlighters, their eyeshadow palettes. Everything by them is just so futuristic and, like I said, out of the box thinking. With this palette here, and I'm not saying it's my favorite design, but it's really creative because, like, you can take this mirror off, you can slide it up, you can, I don't know, take cool pictures with it. But it's just the way that it's designed, and it's not predictable. Like, the layout of this palette is different from Club Nebula. It's different from Make Your Escape. It's different from the Futurism series. The way they shape their eyeshadow pans. You know, some are square, some are round. Then you have these, which are that rectangular shape. I just think that Kaleidos is amazing. And the products that I have from them, they're things that, like, I want to keep on display when I get a beauty room. I would like to have these things out. Like, you don't put this in a drawer, you know what I mean? So in terms of packaging, I would definitely say that Kaleidos is me. It's colorful, it's fun, upbeat, happy, like just good vibes. Like, that's what I get when I see the Kaleidos packaging, and just creative and different. So that's my answer for number 2. So question number 3, if I could pick an eyeshadow that represents spring, this would probably be a common answer for many people. And I know it was for Amy Loves Makeup, and Mel Thompson didn't use it on hers, but Tiny Marvels. If this doesn't say spring or scream spring, I don't know what does. I just love the nature aspect on the design, and then these colors in the inside and the bug names and everything, it just reminds me of spring. So I'm trying to clean this up just a taste, but it's gonna look a mess. And that's because I use it. If you take a look at this palette, I mean, it says spring all around, especially this middle row and then this purple here. These are definitely spring vibes, pastel-y type colors. But then, you know, when you think about spring and planting and growing things, then you think about these browns, you know, and dirt and soil and I don't know, you know. But yeah, this just reminds me of a spring palette. One of the best palettes that I've ever purchased, I would say. The thought, the reasoning behind the shades, the design. I think that Mel Thompson really, she just really showed her creativity with this palette. Anybody that I know who owns this palette always mentions it at some point again, because this is not one that we're gonna just, I don't know, put in the drawer and not use again. I think it's been about a year since this release, and it is beautiful. So this is my springtime palette, number 3. So question number 4 is to choose a palette that represents happy. And for that, what automatically came to mind is my Alien All I Ever Wanted palette. This is by Alien Cosmetics, and it is a 20 shade shimmer duochrome palette. If this doesn't make you happy in life, I don't know what will make you happy. I really don't. Now, I know some people say that they're not all duochromes, but whatever they are great, okay? It is just everything. You have every shimmer imaginable. It is like almost like a rainbow shimmer palette. You have red, you have orange, you have shades that shift gold, i.e. yellow. You've got greens, you have blues, you have purples, and you have iridescents. I just don't know, like, why is it called All I Ever Wanted? This is why it's called All I Ever Wanted. I don't know what else you could ask for. I mean, if I had to think of a highlight of this palette, it's actually all of them, because every shade is giving you something different, okay? So just to show some differences in the formula, one of the things that I love about Alien Cosmetics is they have these shimmers that are really wet looking. So, and they're just a really different type of consistency. Let me just show you. So let's just look at the shade Passion. So it's just got that shimmer but wet look. Look, it's like on, off, on, off. You've got shades like Frolic, which is in their Fairy Frolic palette, and I don't care if it's a repeat because it's all together. Now this might not give you, you know, people may argue whether or not that's a duochrome, but whatever. Look at that. Look at the shimmer and shine in this shade. All right, let's look at Neptune. I mean, you can see the shifts just going like this. It's just so much. Okay, let's do, wait, hold on. I don't even know which ones I want to show y'all. Ooh, okay. Let's look at Neptune, please. Please, please. I don't even know if I want to say, please respect my privacy at this time, or I can't see. Let's do both. Please respect my privacy at this time. I can't see. It's just so much. Y'all see why I picked this for happy? Y'all see how happy I am? Okay, last shade. Sphinx. Sphinx is the last shade. I'm not going to do it because it's 20 shades. Maybe I'll insert my swatches. I think I still have that video. Look at Sphinx. Look at that. It looks like a little orangey melony color in the pan, and look at that green flip that you can see with the ring light on. I mean, oh my God, I can. Moving on, because I have a video on this that I'll link, because I can just talk about this for a long time and I just need to calm down. I think that was number 4. I need to calm down. I feel like my heart's beating fast. Okay, number 5. If I can pick an eyeshadow that represents the dark grungy in me, this might surprise y'all. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna pick Pat McGrath Midnight Sun. Y'all, for some reason, every time I use this palette, that's all I create. First of all, you're not gonna get an eyeshadow palette tag without Mother Pat. I mean, I really debated putting this for number 1, but the reason that I didn't is because I just started using this palette for real. Like, this just became my favorite Pat McGrath palette, like out of my rankings. And I just felt like I had to be true to my Rust palette. Like, I wasn't trying to be like a fair weather friend. Like, that's not right. But this does represent me though, for real. Because you do have that grungy green. You've got the terracotta. You've got the earthy. You've got the color. Is it too late to swap? No, I'm not swapping. I'm going to be loyal to the game. Now, you can really make some beautiful earthy grungy looks with this palette. And I just love, this is Wicked Envy. You've got this, look at that green, just satin. Yeah. Then you have, you got the blood orange special shade. Oh my God, look y'all. Come on. Come on. And then you've got Vermilion Venom. Such a unique shade to Pat McGrath. And this Vermilion Venom shade is very similar to one of the shades in the Rust palette. So you can see I'm consistent, but I'm just saying I can't be, you know, just throwing my Rust palette up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just not fair. It's just not right. Yeah, so there you've got Vermilion Venom. And I mean, I'm gonna swatch the purple shade. I can't remember what that's called, but hold on, I can tell you. Oh, Blitz Violet Orchid. Because like, this is my type of purple. You know what I mean? It's just not doing too much, but it is at the same time, if that makes any sense. And then you've just got like your perfect transition shade. You've got your smoke shade. You've got another shade, this shade right here. Very similar to what's in the Melt palette. So you can see there's some overlap there. So I really, you know what I mean? That's that shade right here. That's called Bronze Eclipse. Man, it's a tough choice. I would have to tie these for representing me, but yeah, can we put this up with Melt Rust? I'm just saying, we're gonna put that up there with Melt Rust as an accompaniment. But as far as a palette that represents the grungy in me, it's this one. I just love what you can pull out of this palette. There is so much that you can pull out of this palette. And I don't think people were really wowed by it when it came out, but recently I feel like there's been a revival. Okay. All right, that's number 5. Let me move on. Y'all, eyeshadow, I'm telling you, eyeshadow just makes me so excited, okay? All right, so let me move on to number 6. We're lucky that there are only 8 questions in this tag because we would have a problem. Okay, the next one for number 6 is a palette that represents the girly in me. And the palette I picked for that is Cherry on Top by BH Cosmetics. So out of all of the sweet shops, this is my number 2 favorite. My number 1 favorite is Orange Sorbet. But when I think of girly, I think of reds, pinks, and purples. So Cherry on Top, this is my palette. Y'all, this is my palette, okay? I can't, yet I can. Okay, so you still have that deep element of grunge that I like to have available. Available for what? Sorry, let me stop. But I swear, y'all, wait, I have not had any wine. I'm high off eyeshadow. It's for real, truly. Honestly, truly. But look at these 6 shades. Again, this is monochromatic, so they're only gonna be so different, but you can get more red looks and more pinky looks. And the quality of these Sweet Shops palettes are just, okay. Look at Maraschino, beautiful, juicy, yes. Then you got the shade Sweet. These are just beautiful, you know what I would call little girly shades, you know what I'm saying? Put these on, you're gonna be looking like a snack. You're gonna be looking like a sweet treat. That's how I feel about this palette. And then you got your black cherry. I mean, if you wanna smoke this on out, I have videos for this one too, y'all. All the Sweet Shops. You wanna smoke it on out with some, why this shade is called Sprinkles, I don't know. You can do that. It is just a great palette. Beautiful transition shades. You can mix and match. This is the Cherry on Top, y'all. Palette number 6. This brings out the girly in me. So freaking beautiful, y'all. 2 more palettes to go, and then I'm gonna have to calm down because the next palette is a palette that represents fun. Okay, I'm gonna take my watch off for this. The palette that I chose that represents fun is a Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. Now, I originally had Circo Loco there, but Circo Loco, it looks fun, but it's all right. This looks fun to me. This is fun in a box for me. This could also bring out the grungy in me. This would also represent me as a color story. I know, but at least y'all can see I am consistent. First of all, this is like a grungy pastel palette. And if you know anything about Natasha Denona, her matte shades are just, they're so good. Don't know what to say about it. You've got, look at these 2 right here, Ion and Vert. Yes. What's this one called? Manganese? No, sorry. Plutonium. All of them. What's manganese? Oh, manganese is a purple. I was like, let me find out I'm making up shades. Then you do have the 3 duochrome shades, which are beautiful. You know, some people might consider this like diet duochrome, but listen, they are Natasha Denona, classic formula, gorgeous, gorgeous. I can't. I mean, her mattes are just, I don't know. Like, look at these 3 mattes. I'm sorry, y'all can't even see them, but look, try and get it clear. They're just, I love this palette. I love the looks you can get with it. I just love the vibe of the palette. I love duochrome shades, and grungy duochromes are even better. I just love how they look on the eye. Like, one minute it looks like you have this, then the next minute it looks a little bit dirty, and then it's like, oh, but it's not. You know what I mean? So this is my palette that represents fun. We are almost done. And then y'all don't have to hear me shuck and jive anymore. So the last palette is a palette that is inspiring. That's number 8. If I could pick a palette for inspiration. And this was already on the list, but I have to put it on the list again. It is the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. When I first saw this palette, I was not immediately wowed. Like, I knew that the palette was gonna be bomb as far as the quality, but I wasn't sure how I felt about the color story. It was like half melt, half something else, and I just wasn't sure. But what changed my mind about the palette was because, like, from here on over, I'm like, okay, cool. But then these 2 shades in here kind of threw me off. But what became inspiring was, how can I put these 2 shades with these? And what would that look like? You know you can make this be a vibe here. You know what I mean? That's easy. And this would not be those 2 blues. Like, blues are not my favorite color to wear for eyeshadow. So just trying to figure out, how can I grunge up these blues and what would they look like together? It just started to have me thinking. And, you know, putting these pinks with this kind of grungy nature vibe that we have, like this 420 vibe that's going on here. That's what made this palette really inspiring to me, because when I sat here and like put the looks together for this one, and I haven't filmed it, I'm actually in the process of filming it now, but I put the looks together weeks ago. I was like, how can we put these together? We have this shade Aloe Cove and Stained Glass, which are these 2 shimmers. I mean, look at how beautiful those are. And these could be like toppers. Look at that. They could be toppers, they could be used on their own. This might have mixed a little bit with something else I had on, but these are gorgeous. Man, this shade Sun Gazer, y'all, River's getting in trouble. I don't know if y'all can hear him, but he's getting in trouble. I was gonna try to have him in the video because somebody was like, we haven't seen River in a long time, but y'all ain't seeing him in this one. Y'all might hear him though. There's Sun Gazer. And then of course you have the mattes, Earthship, Chlorophyll. Now all of these, as you can see, kind of go with, you know, my type of shades. But yeah, anyway, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's my inspirational palette. And just the way that whole collection came, it's like, what can I do with this? And I love when I see an eyeshadow palette and I'm like, you know, it makes you really think about how you can wear it and combine colors. I love that, because you can come up with some really, you know, just out of the box stuff. That is the eyeshadow palette collection tag, you guys. I really had a great time just now filming this video and just thinking about the eyeshadow palettes in my collection, what I gravitate to and what represents me. Kind of helps me with knowing what my aesthetic is. And you know, I'd like to say that that would help me not purchase things that I know aren't my vibe, but I don't know if it's gonna help that. I love eyeshadow, playing with color, playing with textures, and just trying out different brands and sharing it with y'all and hearing what you all have to think. So let me know what you think about these answers. What did you think about the palettes I chose, and what would you choose? I would love to know in the comment section. So definitely let me know that. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me today. I always have a great time. And until I see you again, which will be really soon, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice. Stay safe. And again, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.